Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on a Saturday here in Melbourne, because let's go to our friends up in Queensland, because we're heading to the beautiful Sunshine Coast, because speak with one of our favourite teams, and of course in the QAFLW, which is Maroochydore, and of course we got two very special guests join us right now to tell us a bit about how the pre-season's going for them, heading towards that season open in a couple of weeks. Thanks both for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'll get both of you to introduce yourselves and tell us what position you're hoping to play in once the season gets underway.
You go first. Okay. I'm Jazz. I'm hoping to probably play centre half forward. That's about it.
My name is Brianna, and hopefully somewhere within the forward line, whether it's a deep or half forward flank. Doesn't really worry me, but yeah,
dream team.
Line. That's it.
Tell us a bit about the pre-season for the teams.
Okay, I'll start. It was a really good pre-season. We had like a pre-season before Christmas, and then we had our pre-season. It was great. Our pre-season, we had a lot of girls. I love saying that. We had a lot of girls turn up, a lot of new girls. We had a few people come in from Rockhampton, UQ. And we were having like 30 to 40 girls turn up for that that block, which was fantastic. It really set the standard for the rest of the season, and Moods and the coaching staff came in with a set of expectations this year, and I think it's just really improved our culture, our training standard, and everything. You can probably talk about pre-season.
Yes, absolutely. We feel like we've been training for so long, I feel, because we did that pre-season. So we are all so keen to get into round one, but we're doing like our practice matches at the moment. So we're all just so happy to finally start playing games, because it feels like we've just been training for so long. So it's so good to actually get out on the field and finally like work as a team and see how we operate, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So counting down the days to the actual season get underway.
Yeah, absolutely.
7 days.
That's right.
This time next week we'll be on the field. So playing for points, which is nice.
Yeah.
How have you gone in the pre-season matches?
We've only had one. That was last week. And we versed UQ and we pretty much flogged them. To be fair, what was the final score?
It was like 70-something nil.
Yeah,
but they were missing. Yeah, they were missing quite a few key players. They did have Luca, their AFLW player, or one of their AFLW players, but they're like, I guess, the girls under the AFLW players that have been in their team for so long. They were up playing in Darwin. So it'll be interesting, because we do play them next week in round one. So I definitely think it's going to be a different game.
It will be.
It's not going to be that 70-something nil. It's not going to be that. It's going to be a hard battle. But I guess it does give us that confidence, considering they were so dominant last year. Even though it wasn't their full force team, it's like, okay, they are beatable. Like, exactly. Even though it's not there, I think that's kind of nice to go in there. But we also can't, got to be prepared that.
Absolutely. And not get too cocky. Just in case.
So, and then we're versing the under 18 state team tomorrow. So that will be another good hit out, and great to play against the under 18 state team. I'm super excited. We've got a couple girls, Sophie and Kiara, that are in that team. So I actually get to, if Kiara does play centre half back, which I think she will, I get to match up on her. So I'm super excited for that. We talk each other all week long. I said, watch out. So
mentioned that obviously you play in the team that won the premiership last year in UQ. Now, obviously, I don't think they'll have their AFLW players back, because obviously Brisbane game got postponed this week. So I guess how are you going to approach a game like that, knowing that obviously they're probably going to get some of the Darwin players back, but I guess knowing that you may not play against their actual AFLW players?
I think, yeah, it's a hard one. I think we still have to go in there like with full confidence. I think as a team, we just need to play our game and work to our strengths. Our coach is really big on playing with our individual strengths. So knowing what you're really good at and knowing what you can provide the team, and making sure that you stick to that. So we have the best option for each other. And I think we just need to stick, whether they have AFLW players or not, I think we still need to play our own game and not worry about them. And I think we'll be fine no matter what, like we're up against, kind of thing.
Are you hoping to get some of your AFLW players back in the coming months?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a couple back already.
Well, yeah, I think Lil Poss
is 100%.
will be back with us,
Yeah.
obviously, because she was inactive all season coming back from her ACL. So I'm not sure what the go is because they're playing finals. And obviously that's her team, so whether she'll be with them. But then I know that she's super keen to get a lot of footy under her belt. And then in terms of the other girls, I guess it would just depend on selection. And then again, like, because it is finals, I'm assuming they will all travel with the team to support the team. So we might still miss them for a few weeks. But that's something, I guess, Moods will know more about that than what we do. We're just ready to go in with the players that we have, and if we get them, then that's just extra added value for us.
Absolutely.
How special is to have Chloe Gregory, one of our ambassadors in your team?
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah, she's
an amazing player. She's moved from that midfield position now into the forward line. And she's a super, super strong forward line player. So she will be definitely one to watch. For sure, as she always is, but yeah 100%.
Tell us a bit about your coaches.
Okay, well, we got Moods, our head coach, loves to chat. He's come in this season. He's actually doing his level 3 coaching course, so I think he's really come into the season wanting to improve as well, and been really focused on not only getting the team sorted and growing as a unit, growing our culture and everything like that. He's also wanting to grow as a coach, which is fantastic to see. And then our forward line coach, Chris Nordo, he's just super passionate, so incredibly passionate. It's crazy. So that just, I think, bleeds into our forward line, which is great. And it's great to have some structure down there. Bakes is in the middle. Bakes is just, I don't know.
He is great. He always will push you no matter what. He's very big on running, which is something that we all need to improve on.
A mids coach. Like,
he's great.
If you walk over to something, he's just like, 10 push-ups, like he hates dawdling, like exactly dawdling. He's exactly what a mids coach would be like. Just that, got that energy and got that determination and wants to really hit hard. And then we got Hoppy in the back line, which I'm super excited for her to come up. She was the Resi's assistant coach last year. She's got the back line. Her footy IQ is incredible. Because she's played for so long in women's footy back in Victoria and just has so much experience, and her IQ is just second to none. So it's great to see her fill up that backline role.
So how did both of you get involved in footy, and why did you choose it?
I got involved in Melbourne, obviously, years ago. I was playing basketball, as you know, Will. As you know, you've interviewed me before. But when I was playing basketball, I was always like, what was I called? My coach would always say, I was like the bulldozer, and I would go out there.
Well, legitimately, what is?
So people.
So all I'm thinking about is the font part. Sorry. Sorry.
So I would always be called the bulldozer, and he would literally put me on to like hurt players or to make a big impact. And then I kind of realized that was, especially basketball, when you're not supposed to have like that contact. It wasn't my vibe. I was like, this is not working for me. I can't actually hit people. Like I can't do that. Anyway, So then everyone, like literally everyone at basketball was like, you need to start playing footy or like get into like a contact sport where you can actually hit people. And then I went down to East Brighton Vampires, my old club. And yeah, it was so good. I played a season with them, and it was just so much fun. And then when I moved up here, I wanted to still get involved and make sure that I was, you know, playing footy. And Maroochydore Roos, mum told me about them, and she was like, this is the team on the coast. Like, this is, I think, one of the only ones, because there's not a lot of options up here.
Right.
And when I found that, you know, it was a pretty good level that was challenging and always, you know, kept you on your toes and made you try and get like the best that you can, I had to, sign up. So that's why I started pretty much.
Well, I played netball back in New South Wales in their Premier League, and like grew up, I'm a netball fanatic. And then basically when I graduated uni, I got a job with Virgin Australia, and I was ready to move to Brisbane. Well, I did move to Brisbane for that, but I actually missed all the Ruby and Sapphire series, which is the comp up here, their trials. So I moved to Brisbane, and I was just like, okay, went to some other trials, but like the level was just not, with netball, I've got to play a high level or else I really struggle. And so I then just was like, oh, I've always wanted to give AFL a go. I nearly did it a few years prior to that, but again, netball kind of got in the way of that. So I went to Kendron in Brisbane, and I started doing preseason with them. Then COVID happened. I got stood down from my job, so I decided to move back down to New South Wales, to Wollongong. And one of my best mates down there was like, hey, I'm playing AFL. And I was just like, oh, I was going to play AFL. And she's like, come play for us at Wollongong Saints. And so I did, and it was the funnest season ever. The girls, it's like a cult down. Well, I just like always wear my gear with pride. And that season, because the girls got moved out of the Sydney comp, even though they were dominant in that comp for 4 years. They were in the grand final all 4 years. So we got moved down to the South Coast comp and was undefeated that whole season, won the grand final. So it's just like a dream season, like come in, first footy season, win the grand final, undefeated. Oh, it's just like reminiscing. It's my favorite. But then in 2021, I was just like, I don't know what, I was eventually going to be made redundant. So I was just like, oh, what am I going to do with myself? So I decided to go back to uni and move up to the sunny coast. Really random, but that's just how I roll. And I actually messaged the coach who is the coach of UQ, because he was the coach at Kendron, and was like, hey, like, moving to the sunny coast, where should I go play footy? And he told me to go to Maroochydore. So yeah, and I've just like fallen in love with footy ever since. I think it's just, I'm able to learn so much and develop so quickly in this, which is what I'm enjoying the most.
Did both of you miss Melbourne and Wollongong?
I don't know. I do miss elements of it. I definitely miss like the nightlife in Melbourne, especially like the food options. The food is just next level. The coffee, I love the people. I miss the sporting clubs, because there was a sporting club in like every suburb, especially footy. You know how big it is in Melbourne. Like there was a footy club in every single suburb, which was so much fun, because everyone started to like know, you know, what club like you belong to and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely miss Melbourne. I don't miss the weather. That's something that I will never miss. It's just, you know, up here is just, I feel so grateful to be here, especially with like nature outside your doorstep. It's pretty amazing, you know. Yeah,
well, for me, Wollongong's very similar to the sunny coast, it's just a bit colder. And I did live in Sydney for like 3 years, so I miss the nightlife of Sydney and like the cities, like the cafes and all of that. But the hustle and bustle and the anxiety that you get from living in Sydney, I do not miss that one bit. Going back to Wollongong, like I definitely enjoyed it. But also there's just like, I guess, you just feel like you're always pressured to do, well, not, it's like internal pressure, but you just got so many people you know, and you got family, you're just like crazy. So it's nice to like kind of come up here and just kind of do your own thing in some ways. And I love it up here. I love the weather up here. I'm definitely feeling more like a Queenslander every single day, but I will not go for Queensland instead of Origin. Hell no.
Oh,
No, it's just different. I definitely miss my friends back at home. Like, I've got a couple friends that I'm continually trying to convince to move up to the sunny coast. And then, like, obviously family. I'm like, oh, do you want to like move up here? You know, but no, it's great. It's different. Yeah, but I do love it. Yeah.
What does the sport of footy mean to both of you, especially playing there at Maroochydore?
For me, it's community. So footy, joining the Roos has allowed me to, you know, establish roots in the sunny coast and create this sense of community. I've now coached as well. I coached last year the under 11s, and now I'm coaching under 13s. So yeah, it's just, for me, it's like that community. You have people having your back, yeah, that are going to support you no matter what. So, and you can always call upon them if you need anything, which is great.
Yeah, I'll definitely go off that as well. It's a definite, like, community is such an important thing, and the coaches, the players and the volunteers, the staff, everything. It's just, it's amazing how everyone kind of comes together to create something. But also it's definitely an outlet, I think, for both of us, just to kind of let all of our anger out. And just, it's so good just to run around. I feel like I don't know, I couldn't live without footy. Like, I really couldn't. It's just such like it's like embedded in us, I feel.
Yeah, I think sport is definitely embedded. Yeah, we're very similar. We're very tense when it comes to sport.
We're very competitive.
We're very competitive, but we're like screw work, go to footy. Like, we're always somewhat baddie community footy, because we're like, some people have lives outside of this, and we're like, no, you do not have a life. Footy is your life now. But yeah, no.
I think we just set high expectations for each other or ourselves, and we expect it. But, you know, we obviously put footy number one when it comes to the season. And when you can, like, my dad has always been really big on the fact that when you commit to something and you know the times of training, you know the times when you're going to be, you know, playing your game, you get that day off, you get that training off, you're committed, you are 100%. The only excuse is if you're like really sick or something like that. So I've just been built like that. So it's kind of like ingrained in me, just from my dad being like, well, especially with basketball, and Will, you know how competitive it is with basketball. Like, if you don't come up to training, even if you are late for a training, that's going to cut your game time, or like that's going to cut you having any opportunity in the future. Or, you know, if you're coming into training late, putting your shoes on, and when everyone's warming up on the basketball court, that just looks as a bad reflection on you. So I think from that Melbourne culture, especially with how competitive sport is down there and how everyone is kind of like fighting for a position, coming up here was a lot laid back. So I had to kind of adjust and adapt to the kind of sunny coast, maybe just a Queensland kind of like outlook on sport. Maybe, I don't know, just like a lot more chilled. So I had to be a little less like, I don't know, with my expectations. I needed to be like, okay, I can actually chill. Like, I don't need to be like waiting on the sideline ready to go 10 minutes before. But yeah, I don't know, just something that from Melbourne, I think, and my dad.
Yeah, very similar.
I really want to ask this question now. Now, obviously, I'm assuming, you know, obviously both of you living together, I'm assuming, am I correct? Yeah. And obviously both you're on the same team. So how did that all come about, and what have both of you learned on and off the field from each other?
That's a good question. Well, it came about when we were both at the same time. We just both wanted to kind of move out closer to Maroochydore, to footy. Well, I was in Nambour at the time with my mum, and I wanted to get closer to work, to footy, especially because I was doing a lot of gigs for music and singing. I wanted to be around this area as well, but also for footy. I just felt like every single day I was going back and forth, and then I would go home, and then that night I would come back for a gig, or I'd go back and then come back for footy. So I felt like I was continuously going back and forth, and the amount of petrol I feel like would be like 4 months rent. It was so bad. So then we kind of got that, to each other. What have I learned with Jazz? What have I learned with Jazz at home? Let me have a think. Well, to be really lovely, she's very generous in terms of like we furnished the house together, and I felt like she was always giving and always wanted. I think we were both on the same page. Like we both wanted to make sure everything was done and set. Super dedicated to her sport, and also I've learned that, you know, Jazz has been going back and forth to Brisbane for lines training. I have to say, you know, and it's just it's amazing to see, you know, it's 10 p.m. at night and she's walking through the door, and you know, she's having her dinner then, and or like she'll be rolling out, and it's just like she's so dedicated, and it is pretty amazing to see. And it's yeah.
Oh, thank you.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, like I was living in another house in like 20 minutes down the road, I guess. And for me, because of how hectic my schedule was going to be when that house was meant to end, I just really wanted to move out in my uni break when I had time. And also I had all of my furniture back in New South Wales because of the lockdown. I kid you not. So I was planning to go home I was moving into that other house, and I was like going to go home in July. A week before I was going home to get all my stuff from New South Wales, the borders shut. So I was sleeping on a mattress on the floor. I had to buy a mattress. Luckily, there was mid-year sales on, so I got a mattress super cheap. And it was just on the floor. I know, it just like, oh. So like, yeah, I was just really super keen to like move out in a time that it wasn't going to be stressful for me, and also a time where, you know, my family were able to help me get all my furniture from New South Wales back up here. So that was, and Ree messaged me being like, hey, like I'm looking, do you know anyone interested in moving out around this time? And I was just like, actually, that time kind of suits me. So yeah.
We were so lucky.
Yeah. And then what Ree, well, yeah, she's super generous too. I think also for Ree, like, maybe because you have been a singer, so you like put value on your time.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of something that I'm learning off Ree. Like, she's just like, you know, you do all this, like, what about you? And I'm like, yeah, like I don't know, she's kind of like, I guess, teaching me like my time is valuable, and you know, I can, I guess in some aspects of my life, I guess I get a little bit of imposter syndrome, and she's just like, no girl, like you've put work into this, like you've dedicated, you're hardworking. So just really giving me that confidence. I've definitely added a few words into my vocabulary.
Oh no!
Yeah, like, and I'm always like, girl. She always, So yeah, and I think just being like, it's been so good living with Ree, and just because of it, it's so cool. Like she's a singer, Kate Kingsley, and it's just like, yeah, go. She's got a new song out. Here we go.
Yes. I know this.
So definitely look up Kai Kingsley on Spotify or any streaming.
Anything.
Yes. So it's so cool, like coming home and she's jamming in the lounge room, and then we go watch her concerts. She had one last night.
It's a gig.
A gig. Well, I reckon it's a concert. I just think it's so cool having someone so talented in your household.
You're the same.
I know, but like it's like the sports. I love all the sports people, and I still get mesmerized by all the sports people too. But like, I don't know, having like a singer, it's like I could be a little fangirl. I love it.
We're going to get to that music part, but you've actually answered every single question I was going to ask about that. So, well, let's finish up a couple lighthearted questions about your teammates.
Okay.
Which is, who had the most embarrassing moment so far in the preseason?
Oh yeah, I have
These
one.
are funny. Okay, good.
I don't know whether it'll really be funny to anyone listening, but Georgie Kerr, she's one of our young ones.
Yeah.
She just got her license, and it took her about 5 or 10 to reverse park into a car park that had no cars next to her.
Know this story, yeah.
no cars next to her whatsoever. And she was just, I was just standing there, like there wasn't many people around, just watching her, just like, mate, you have no cars next to you. It's really not hard to remember. I think her car has cameras as well. It wasn't like a terrible car. And she's like, leave me alone. I just got my license. And I'm like, well, whoever gave you your license, you really messed up there.
Well, we figure out who the best singer is on the team. So, so who's the comedian?
Oh, Pashy for sure.
Yeah,
Ash Mood.
Yeah.
Ash Mood. I call it Pashy. Ashy.
Yeah, Ashy.
Moods.
What is it?
Ashy Pashy.
Ashy Pashy on Instagram.
Ashy Pashy 10. Follow her on TikTok.
Follow her on
Instagram.
TikTok. Yeah, she's hilarious.
Uh-huh.
At the moment.
Yeah, she's a bit of an influencer at the moment. Yeah, and actually a new girl that's come into a team and a bit like of a comedian / more so smart ass is Meg.
Yes. Yeah, Meg. She's a funny one. I love her.
She's dropped
She's
some
good
one-liners. I think Bates is gonna come for her in next preseason, to be honest, because it's always when he's talking, she drops some real good one-liners.
I think you pretty much answered my next question about who's into their TikToks. I'm assuming that's Ash.
Yeah, Pashy for sure.
Yeah.
We all love a good TikTok.
I don't have TikTok.
Okay.
Oh, really, Jazz?
No, I will spend too much time on it. So I go stalk Kyra and Pashy every so often.
as you would. So do either of you have a pre-game superstition or ritual?
Yeah, I definitely do. I can't eat 3 hours before.
That's right.
I can't eat 3 hours before. And usually the day before, I have to have at least like minimum 3 liters of water. But that's like really my only superstition. I remember, I don't know if you remember at McKinnon Cougars, one of the girls, I don't know if she spoke to you about it, but Ellen Parry, she would have a crazy superstition. She would have like a full routine, like a shoe, and she would have a Coke and a bag of like salt vinegar chips. No, or like a Slurpee. She'd always have a Slurpee. She'd always have a Coke and like a bag of chips, and like she would, or like a chalky milk or something.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah, chalky milk she did, because I used to be like, why did you have that before a game? Like,
I know.
we're to run and you're like having chalky milk. Like, what is going on? But yeah, I just need to make sure that I have enough water the day before. And on that day, I eat like porridge in the morning or like something really light. It's more about my eating habits. Nothing really too much about like what shoe to put on first or whatever. But I can throw you off.
I don't know. I used to, like, growing up, it was like mum always had to braid my hair. My mum is actually extremely talented.
Amazing.
Like, she did roos in my hair. Like, you could see like RO for the final last year.
Yeah, we'll have to send you a photo.
It was so sick. But then obviously when I moved out of home and got older, like, she's not there she's not even in the same state as me now, so can't braid my hair anymore, so I had to get over that kind of superstition. But I feel like in footy I'm pretty chilled, maybe just like having my ankle strapped, because that's not a common thing in footy, but from netball, like from like 12, I always had to either have my ankle strapped or had an ankle guard, but that's just like netball culture for you. So yeah, I go to games and they're like, oh, do you have an injury to your ankle? And I did previously, but I'm like, no, I just need my ankle strapped.
What will be your advice to people that should get involved in footy, especially down there at the Fisherman's Road, down there at Maroochydore?
I just reckon just come down, even come down and like watch a game. It's a good like vibe at the footy grounds. If you've got nothing to do, I reckon it's great. It's such fun. Like, I'm going down and just watching the games now, or watching like the juniors. But yeah, no, I just say come along. I haven't read the book, but like coaching, no, just like a kind of a bit of a motto I've been living by, which I know is kind of hard when you thinking about joining a new club or whatever. And the book's called Fear It, Do It Anyway, which I'm going to read. I'm just reading other stuff at the moment. And so like, I don't know, I kind of feel like you're normally pretty fearful going to a new club or trying a new thing. You're like, oh, like, what are these people? So yeah, just if you fear it, do it anyway. Just come down, come say hey.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really big on including everyone. I think like moving forward this year, one of our big things in our culture was to make sure that everyone feels included, no matter like what ability or level they're on, like they're up to, especially for new players or anyone that just wants to try it out. We have had people that have tried it out and they're like, you know what, it might be too fast for me, or it might be too much of a high level. So we're just going to train and have fun and just, interact. So, and that's fine. Like the more people, the merrier. Like we love it. We love more people. We love seeing the growth in people, and more people, more girls, more women that can play footy, like the better. More people that can be in sport, especially women. We're all for it. So even if you don't want to play, there's that always option that you can train, have a run around with us.
Because
enjoy it.
We got like, I'll shout her out, Angie, who's been living with Moose. She's moved from SA, and she came down to footy, obviously living with our coach. And she's just like, you know, this is too fast for me. I want to spend a season like developing my skills, and then maybe next season. But because she's new to the area, like she still wants to make friends, meet new people. So she's coming down to training like once a week or whenever she can, which is great. And then like even last night she came to Ree's gig.
I know.
You know, so she's like getting around the girls community. Like we do a little beach walk. We call it walk and talk. And Wednesday and Friday, and you know, she's actually a regular there, more so than the other girls in our team. So yeah, it's just great having those people, not just the people playing that just want to come and make friends and hang out.
Who has the best nickname in the team?
All I can think about is Pashy, because she pashes a lot of people. But I'm trying to think of others, but that's just like in my mind echoing.
Well, Liz is the pocket rocket.
Yeah, Liz is a little pocket rocket. She's amazing. She won Best and Fairest last year. And she's fast. She runs like a
little pocket rocket.
She's like, we're pretty like
our nicknames are pretty basic.
Yeah. Something that was interesting in my old club, they used to call me Gary, because they always used to say like, go Ree, go Ree, go Ree, go Ree. And then it sounded like from like a sideline person like watching, they always used to think that that was like a Gary on the field, but it was actually like go Ree, like go Rihanna. And then everyone started calling me Gary. So it was actually, I kind of liked it. I was like, I could be a Gary. But then it didn't like, didn't go into this season. No one picked up on it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's all right.
Just keep it with your
but
home.
the home team, they always call me that. Well, a couple of the girls do anyway, for sure. But I'm trying to think of like, everyone's names is kind of like their last name with an O on it.
Yeah.
Like Mardo. Oh, I don't really like Mickey Martin. Oh, I call her Mickey. Some people call her Mardo. I feel like Pashy's gonna have to take the crown for that one as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think she does on that one. Both of you, thank you so much for giving up your time to join us. It's awesome having both on the show. I can't wait to come back up to Queensland again, and hopefully get to see the mighty Maroochydore in action once the season gets underway next week, and hopefully it starts well against the defending champs, and hopefully see us up there in about a month's time.
Absolutely, you will.
Thank you.
No worries, and that's Rhea and Jazz there joining us from the Maroochydore Roos QAFLW team. And of course, as they mentioned, their first game is against the defending champs UQ, of course, next weekend. Of course, we'll put all the details up if you're in the area to get involved and of course support the mighty Roos in 2022. There's more on the Smash Sport show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.